Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your absolutely favorite podcast. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin, y'all. It's good to be here. Thank you for watching, listening, subscribing. Today I got a special episode. I can't wait. This is a very nerdy, gaming orientated episode. But I have the stat geek of all stat geeks on the show today, Mr. JGOD. If you watch me on Erik Griffin Gaming, you know about this. But he's a very fascinating guy and it's interesting. So, welcome to Riffin with Griffin. Okay. Anyways, yeah, man. So thanks for listening, subscribing, sharing. Thanks for doing all that stuff. The people on YouTube, thank you. People that just listen to the audio, thank you guys too. So yeah, I have a guest on today. So this is just the intro part. His name is JGOD. Real name is James, but we all call him JGOD. He's like a great stat geek, and we just have a very interesting conversation. So if you've never played Call of Duty, or if you ever heard about somebody that takes stats and somebody that's like really meticulous about that, that's this guy. He's a very interesting dude, and we have a fun conversation. If you're not into gaming and stuff like that, you want to pass on this one, I totally understand. But for all you gaming geeks, this is a good one, and especially the people that know who JGOD is. So that's what this one's about. Now, I just a little warning, little disclaimer for the people watching on YouTube. For the first 7 minutes of the video, his video is choppy because he wasn't in here live. But then it cleans up, and then for the rest of the hour and whatever many time, everything is fine. So just bear with it for the first 7 minutes. But you people that are just listening, you're fine, so you don't even have to worry about it. So, but once again, and also remember, make sure you check me out on Erik Griffin Gaming on Twitch. So I'm always there, and share, subscribe, like, and I hope you enjoy this episode. So here he is, Mr. JGOD. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Riffin with Griffin, special Riffin with Griffin, crossing with Erik Griffin Gaming and Riffin with Griffin all together in one world. Welcome to the podcast, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. JGOD. Welcome to the podcast, my friend.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. Let me just say, just off the bat, I'm a huge fan, and I just want to get into really where are you from, and how did you get into? Let's just start where are you from, because you're in California, right?
Yes, I'm in California. I've been in California pretty much my whole life. I've gone to a couple other states. Right after I graduated high school, I was in the Marine Corps Reserve.
Oh, wow. Thank you for your service.
I ended up having to go to boot camp in San Diego, which wasn't too far. And then the year later, I ended up going to my MOS school stuff, which was over in North Carolina for a basic electrician. And then I did that while I was going to school, working full time. I was with my girlfriend, which ended up being my wife that I got together with when I was in high school. Pretty much stayed in California the whole time. Moved from the LA area more to the Riverside area. And that's kind of a little bit my origin as far as my start, where I live and locally where I'm at.
Sweet. All right. And so then what got you into doing the stats the way you do it? Because it's so intensive what you do. So what started that? You know what I mean? What got you into being so meticulous with the stat crunching, and to the point where it's you're the go-to. You know that, right? You're the go-to for guns.
Yeah, it just is kind of weird how that kind of evolved. Because when I first started my channel, about almost 3.5 years ago, 4 years in August, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do some COD videos. Before that, I was like, you know what? Let me try and get a little bit better at COD. I started watching YouTube for the first time in 2017. So I hadn't even actually known anything about YouTube, joining like when I'm like 29 years old, 30 years old, and barely getting into YouTube.
Right.
But at least I had some work experience. So a lot of times I think these younger people on YouTube, they don't have that. So it's kind of hard for them to transfer over and understand the business side of YouTube.
Yes.
So initially when I first started, I found a channel, Exclusive Ace, which was kind of more of a numbers guy. Very data driven stuff. And I related with that because even when I used to work in sales, I was still kind of like a numbers guy, very analytics, which sometimes to a fault, which is sometimes is bad, but it ends up working out, you know, that it transferred over to this. But I also found another YouTuber by the name, well, he's a streamer mainly, but his name was T Memory, absolute demon, like a 6KD. And when I started watching, it was like one of those things where before that, I would look at the leaderboards and go, there's no way anyone can have a 6KD. That's just not real.
Right.
You know,
right.
they got to be cheating something, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like
yeah.
in that mindset that like a lot of people are going through now that, you know, they just don't realize how good people could be. So I started watching that. I got into it. And then I improved dramatically, like overnight, just from like watching and focusing on content. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I could give this YouTube thing a try. Maybe I could fulfill a niche, which is to help players improve. I think there's a lot of good content on there of best class setups or, you know, gameplay just for pure entertainment, just because somebody's so talented, they show that off. But there wasn't a lot of improvement stuff. And I saw myself go from like a 1.7 KD up to almost like a 4 in like a matter of like 2 or 3 weeks. Not my overall stats, but my weekly stats were like dramatically improved just by knowing, hey, you know what? You got to look at the mini map. You got to have the right loadouts. So I saw the before and after, like in real time. And I go, you know what? I'm going to try and do that same thing for other people, but maybe focus my content around that. So when I first started my channel, it was all like tip based. So I would just play a match and then I would do essentially live commentary or commentary over the entire gameplay with an emphasis on giving tips around my thought process as I was playing. Because I think all these good players are very talented, but they don't usually find a way to articulate what they're thinking because it requires a little bit more effort. Because it's very easy to go on there when you're super talented, drop a nuke and go, hey, you know, here's my nuke, enjoy it. Right. They have like 3-minute segments where they're focused up and they don't even talk. Their audience really doesn't understand what is going on, like that they're looking at the map 47 times per minute or something crazy. And it's like, really that much? Like, yeah, that much. So there's these little things that nuance. So I evolved from that, but I always wanted to do like a little bit more stat-based stuff. And I always saw like Exclusive Ace is kind of untouchable in that sense, because his content was so like evolved already. Like he'd already been doing YouTube for 5 years or something at that point. So his stats and all that stuff were good. And I spent one day when a new weapon came out, I was like, you know, I'm going to test everything. I'm going to focus all my energy. It took me like 9 hours to test the one weapon. Like, whereas now it would take probably like 2 hours, the same testing on that weapon.
Right.
And, I uploaded and did terrible on the channel. It did horrible views. And I was like, yep, I'm not doing that again. And I was like, that was a waste of my time, all that effort. Like I was stressing out because, you know, and then you're comparing yourself. Oh, you're just copying Exclusive Ace type thing. And you hear a lot of that. So I eventually kept doing these class setup videos, but I always like was debating people. It would be like the best PPSH class setup. And then in the video, I'd go, hey, I would open. I wouldn't even say hello. I would just say the best PPSH class setup is this, this, and this. And then I go, well, now that you have the loadout, if you want to like and subscribe, go for it. But the rest of the gameplay, I'm going to talk about why I'm using this weapon and like how I'm playing the map. And it kind of evolved from that, where I was debating people into tip videos because most people don't think they need the tip videos.
Right.
So I was debating them with class setup videos to get them to my content. And then I would just provide quality content. So I did that for like 2.5 years, 3 years. And then during the process of Warzone or Modern Warfare, when it first dropped, there was a lot of attachments. So it was very easy to kind of get thrown into, hey, you know what? Let me test 47 things on one weapon. And
there was a lot of attachments. That meant there was going to be a lot of content. There was a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I went that route and I started getting more involved in that. I was still doing the things I was doing before, but I slowly was getting more efficient and just better and more comfortable in myself as a content creator. And I did more of the stat-based stuff. And then None of that was like going crazy outrageous. But then at a certain point, I started doing content where I was the only XM4 class setup you need type thing. And then what I would do is I would spend like a 12-15 minute video. There'd be zero gameplay, literally zero. It would just be my face, spreadsheets, attachments. And I would just talk about here's these and why this over this, over this, over this. And the videos did stupid well. I did one for the Grau. It has like 900,000 views, which like for a class setup video, that's absurd. Like my class setup videos would get like 30K, 40K.
Right.
Like,
That's still great.
Like almost 1 million, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, oh, damn. Then I did the next one and then the next one. And then you notice, oh, you know what? That content's doing better than my gameplay where I have to sweat out in skill-based matchmaking and then talk about my thought process. It's like, I'm going to dedicate more time to that.
Well,
Yeah.
let me just tell you, like, I appreciate even how you talking about this. You're very meticulous, and I love that about you. And I think that that's what it is. I think people just really ultimately appreciate, they appreciate like what the effort that you put into it. And like, just speaking for me, like, you know, a new season comes out or a new gun comes out. The first thing I do is go to your channel. The first thing I do is go like, where the hell is that spreadsheet? And when you don't update the spreadsheet, I'm furious with you.
Yeah. I get comments of that. Like, hey, you need to update this. This one's off by a number. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me go double check that.
Yeah. Do you find it? But do you enjoy it? It's like, so like, you know, it's like the fans are clamoring for it, and you're like, does it become like a job where you're like, oh, I got to go test this gun and do the recoil patterns and make sure?
It could be tedious when it's something that is like super repetitive. Like, when a new weapon comes out, it's usually, all right, cool. Let me test this, and this, like these 5 things that are important. Then maybe we'll focus on the finer details. But I think now that we're at a point where like the game is kind of stabilized on attachments, hopefully. It's not like I was going and testing bullet velocities for like 17 weapons where I have to load into Plunder since they don't have private matches that work consistently. And then it becomes more of a chore. But I need that to get to the end result of what I really enjoy, which is making the content. You know what I mean? I need the groundwork, or else I can't make the thing I want to make. So it's kind of like you have to do one for the other. And it's just kind of one of those things that, well, I want to do what I want to do, but I can't do that without doing the other thing. And then they went and changed all the bullet velocities on everything. It was like, all right, I just spent 9 hours straight just tediously landing in Plunder, some people being annoying and shooting. Okay, I got to back out and requeue. Wasted 15 minutes there. Oh, you know what? Now I can't find the timestamp on my video because I ended up getting a gunfight and spent 5 minutes dealing with these weirdos. You know, so it's sometimes that tedious part can be annoying when it's back to back of testing. But luckily, they haven't really done a huge overhaul where they've made it so that has been a thing where it feels more like a chore, because it's like, all right, cool. I spent 2 hours testing something, and then I prep the things for a video, and then I do the video, I edit the video, upload the video, make the thumbnail, the whole process of YouTube. Whereas 2 hours, 3 hours of testing, not bad. 9 to 10 hours a day, like that gets more like grindy, and it doesn't feel as like, all right, cool, now let me make a video type thing. But I'm glad the game's kind of at a point where they did change all these things. They gave us pretty specific numbers. We'll still have to kind of go ahead and manually test things, but it's not like so urgent that I have to do it today. The numbers that they give us is enough to make a video off of, so I can at least get that content out. There's probably a couple outliers where it's like, all right, cool, I'll make a video on that one, and that one, and that gives me another 3 videos. And then like that's where I can drive my content. And then at some point there might be an outlier where maybe they messed up on what they said and it ended up being better than it was. So then that could be a surprise. And that's great for small content creators, because if they put that content out, then it's like, all right, JGOD, did you see this? Yes. All right, cool. So now that guy got a bunch of views on it. Then I'm going to say, hey, by the way, so-and-so found out this, and they kind of get a shout out. So it's kind of one of those things that works itself around.
But let me ask you, why Warzone? Why Call of Duty? What is it? Because like for me, I'll just tell you, for me, I think it's like it's such a challenging game that gets me at so many emotional levels. I have the
Yep.
highest highs and the lowest lows, but that adrenaline rush and I think it's a perfect amount of like the time to kill. I think the time to kill, and I want to ask you about this too. But
Yep.
first, let me ask you about why Warzone, why Call of Duty, why Modern Warfare.
So way back when, I've always played Call of Duty. I remember getting the first original COD for Modern Warfare, like on my Xbox 360, I think it was, or whatever. I played that. I didn't even have online at that time because online was kind of weird, where the internet providers weren't good, or whoever I was living with at the time didn't have the right internet, so where you could play. You had to have like the little Wi-Fi adapter for your Xbox, so you weren't even hardwired. I mean, it was a terrible gaming experience. But I played that, loved the campaign. And then I played a little bit of multiplayer when I go over to like my cousin's house or whatever. And then over time, I got kind of hooked on multiplayer. And it was kind of one of those things. I was part of that COD hype where they were shattering like expectations and just sales and just destroying games like Battlefield, and Halo kind of dipped off and it wasn't even competition. And they were like the game during Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, around that bubble. I played COD every single year. Like every single year, and I invested more time into that game every year than I would other games, because you buy a campaign, it's like 6 to 10 hours.
Yeah,
you knock it out and that's it. You never touch it again.
Yeah.
Versus COD, it's like, oh yeah, I got 10 days played. That's 240 hours. You know, it's kind of crazy to think about. And then there's people who have like 40 days played or something. So that was the logical transition. When I started my channel, I was like, you know what? I enjoy COD. I play COD every year. They come out with a new one, so that's great for content. And then there's like easy transition there. Then when Warzone dropped, I initially didn't think I was going to like it. Most battle royales, I give them about a month. I play them and then I get bored and I move on.
Why do you get bored?
I think it's just kind of like there's nothing to like improve on. You know what I mean? Like for me, it feels weird. Like because when Fortnite dropped, that was the first real BR that I gave a chance. As soon as I got 100 wins, then I was like, all right, well, what do I go for now? There's not like challenges. Like they don't have camo grind in that thing. They don't have nothing. Like it's just get wins, get kills, and buy character skins. That's like I'm not a shop guy. I don't buy anything from the store. And then Apex Legends dropped, and I was like, all right, cool. I gave this like 3 weeks, and I was like, all right, cool. We got some wins, and it's cool, but like, it's like, where the hell's the draw?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times for me was the RNG factor, and the fact that once you're dead, if you play with people, you're dead for the next 25 minutes. Like, that's not fun. That's disengaging real quick.
Yeah.
Blackout had kind of like a respawn system once they came out with those later modes, but even Blackout, I didn't really like enjoy unless I was playing with people I knew that were playing, and I would jump in with them and it'd be cool. But besides that, I was a multiplayer guy, and it was consistent with that. But because of that buyback situation, then once Warzone dropped, they did loadouts.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, that's like, if they didn't have loadouts, I don't know what people would be posting on Warzone.
Right.
Because 99% of the content is best MP5, best AMAX, best, meta.
Yeah.
It's like, what would be, hey, I dropped 30 kills again. I dropped 40 kills again with whatever gun I found on the floor. Like, that's what every other battle royale does.
Okay, so like speaking of the battle royales, just to like, because your energy is like I know that you could talk about this for hours, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. I mean, I'm gonna keep saying that. It's just because it's like. You know, it's kind of like somebody that's really into fantasy football or fantasy sports. And then there's the people that are outside who are like, it's not real. And I hate when people say that, because I'm like, I enjoy this. This is my escape. And for someone like yourself to like be, it's so meticulous. You're so into it. It's so like serious, and it's so well thought out. So I just want you to know, from the COD universe and the people, everybody that watches my channel, you are 100% appreciated. Okay. I just want you to know that. But let's discuss this now, because I love how you were comparing the different games. And for me, I personally think that what makes Warzone the best one is the time to kill. Let me just ask you this. To me, the longer the time to kill, the more it benefits a more skilled player.
Always,
And so for me, let me turn this down a little bit. For me, so then like the higher time to kill, it means that a common average player or someone just coming in, they actually have a chance to win a gunfight no matter what. And I think that's what makes the appeal, because Apex Legends, you got to use like 2 clips to kill somebody.
Oh, even if you're 100% accurate.
Even if you're 100% accurate.
You're like,
and
I got the big mag, it's 25 bullets.
Yeah, and then, and I'm just like, I don't have that skill level to like, you know what I mean? And then PUBG, it looks like Pac-Man, you know what I mean? Like the graphics are shit,
Yeah.
And so then, you know what I mean? And then, so like again, and then I thought Blackout was actually super challenging. Like, you know what's hilarious? I've never won a solo Blackout. All right. To this day, I've tried so many. I've never won, but I have over 200 victories in Warzone. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think that it's at the sweet spot of pros and average players can play together and everyone can shine.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think of that?
I definitely think that's on point. I think their overall goal is to raise the TTK to increase the skill gap just a little bit, because there's too many instances where the guns are super easy to use, especially the meta weapons, where literally you can just aim, pull down a little bit, and you're going to hit your shots. And that's easy for most players. So a lot of times if the TTK is too low, then it feels like you get punished for moving versus somebody gets rewarded for standing still. Because if you happen to walk by someone, they shoot you in the back, if the TTK is too fast, then you don't have a chance to react and potentially at least have a chance, or feel like you had a chance in the gunfight to react and slide into a cover or something to reset that gunfight. So I think that the balance is there, and I think it's getting to a sweet spot, because there's also the other aspect where if the TTK is too high, well, now you can't, like, your chances of taking on a 1v2 drop considerably. Because now you got to take on one guy, and he's more likely to deal damage to you because now the TTK is faster. He can react. So it's a fine balance that I think they're doing okay with, and they've gotten better with in the past 6 months, especially once Raven started being more proactive about patch notes and being very meticulous about what their overall goal is and expressing that goal versus, hey, you know what? It's been 3 months. Let's modify one weapon by one stat, and hopefully that changes everything. No, they're like, yeah, let's modify 38 weapons and we're going to make a big shakeup to things. And
probably they had to do, I think they've made this change too also after the DMR meta time, that what I consider a debacle. But at the same time though, there's a part of me that feels they do that on purpose. I feel like they go, we got to have a meta gun that anybody can use to draw people into playing. Because like if you dropped into a game for the first time and you're just getting wrecked by like everybody, you're just kind of like, why would I want to play this? The learning curve is too high to get there. But if I could drop in and grab this gun that is just like, wow, this is fun. I mean, do you think they do that on purpose? Is that the reason for meta? Because what do you think is the reason for having a meta gun, in your opinion?
Well, I think no matter what, there's going to be a meta, just because people inherently want to min-max stuff. But usually the meta, and then between the viable weapons, usually if the gap is so large, then it has to be designed. Like DMR was completely broken in every regard, and anyone just looking at the numbers could have said, "Yep, that's stupid broken," and basically they went in and they modified all the stats. But if the gap was this big, then it's very hard like to not use this thing.
Right.
But when they've done it now, where obviously there is a clear meta, but the gap is much smaller, you could use some other stuff. And you know that if you run into one of these, you're a little bit at a disadvantage, but it's not like you're guaranteed going to lose regardless if you're not using that.
Okay, but okay, I love this. Okay, on that line though, what I hate is they have a meta, everyone complains. So now, actually, I feel like we've learned our lesson. So like the GRAW meta days, we were like, what is happening? And then they changed it. And then we were upset. Then it was the FAL meta days. We were like, this is outrageous. Now we're kind of like, oh, they're doing this on purpose. So now we're just kind of like, all right, we're just waiting for them to nerf it. But but my problem now is like, they nerf the guns to the ground where they're unusable. And I don't understand why they do that. Like, what do you think of that? Like when the tactical AUG was a meta, it was like, all right, but they didn't have to do it, take away from it where now no one uses it. Why do they do that? Do you think they do that on purpose, or what's your feeling on
No,
that?
I don't think they do that on purpose. I think there's some weapons, particularly with burst, is that they have this fine line where it goes overpowered and then trash. There's no in between. Because if it's slightly better in one area or the other, it automatically becomes broken. I think there's certain weapons that are like that.
The R90, the R90 is like that.
Yep.
The R90, because like the R90, the problem with the R90 is that it's that 2-shot hitch. So it's either got to be a 2-shot kill or it's trash.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because that third shot ends up putting that big old 600 millisecond delay between burst. And now you have like 1,000 TTK instead of 600, which that's not competitive up close.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not, like the R90 is one of those guns where they go, well, we either got to make it really good. But that I get it with that one. But a lot of the other ones, like, for a long time, the Milano was just like an unusable gun. Yeah. And then they did a little change to it. Now, everyone's using it. But I feel like I do agree with you with the gun balancing. I feel like right now that the gun balancing is at a really good place because now you got your MP5, you got the Milano, you got the even that PSH. I always call it the piece of shit because it was like for a little while. You know what I mean?
PSH.
Yeah. Just because. But now I think they did something to it where it's a little better. But like so now you have them. You see, you're not running into the same gun every single time. So, but at the same time though, is that good for the game? Or is it better that like when it's like we're all challenged against that one gun?
I think it's better when there's balance because there's a little bit more variety in the game in terms of what you run up against. And I think there's certain pros and cons to certain weapons, and it adds enough versatility because I know one thing that like keeps me from playing the game sometimes is if the meta is too one-sided. Like at a certain point I was like, yeah, I'm tired of using the AMAX, but I'm not going to use anything else, so I'm just not going to play. It's kind of one of those things where it just gets too much of an issue where there's nothing to use long range. Now you can use the FARA, the C58 after the buff, the QBZ. I thought I'd never say that, but I thought I'd never say that about the Milano. They figured that part out. And then you have the QBZ, you still have the Stoner, the RPD, you have a bunch of weapons that you can literally use for long range. And it's not like, haha, you're going to be screwed. Or you would talk smack if someone grabbed that loadout. It's just not going to happen. Yeah.
But what about like, oh man, the gun that just drives me bananas and they keep jamming it down our throat is that M60. Like, get it off the ground.
Oh, yeah. I think it's off the ground now. I think it's off the ground.
Oh my, I was like, it's in the gulag. It's in the pregame. I'm like, get it out of here or make it better.
Yeah, exactly.
I keep telling my friends, like, they're going to make the M60 meta. You watch next season. They're going to do something to it and everybody's going to be using it. But it's like those kind of guns. I wonder why have that gun in the game if it's going to be, they have to know it's unusable. What do you like? What is your answer to that?
Well, I think one thing that's happened even in previous Call of Duties is you kind of see these typical trends where in like multiplayer, there was weapons that were clearly designed for hardcore. There would be trash in multiplayer, but they'd be good in hardcore because they would do like 30 damage or something. So it was guaranteed a one-shot kill at range versus in multiplayer, you needed like 6 shots and it had a slow fire rate. So really you would get dumpstered because of the health difference. But the fact that, you can get one shot or vice versa, there'd be a gun that does 28 damage. So you need 2 shots in hardcore, but because of the fire rate, it would be excel in multiplayer. I think it's one of those things that like maybe the M60 just sucks because they need to figure some damage and values out because it's slow firing, but it hits the same as most of the other LMGs in Cold War. So there's that aspect to it, but then there's also that, you're balancing against 3 games. So
okay, that makes sense. Cause I feel like every gun is great in multiplayer. Like, I mean, any gun you pick up in multiplayer, you have a chance to win. So I do understand that, but there are certain weapons, man, that I really love. I try. Like on my channel, they know I retire guns. Okay, well, here's another retirement ceremony, but I keep bringing it out of retirement. You know what gun is that? The Scar. Why is that gun? Why isn't it really like to me? It's so damn jumpy. Now, this is what I don't understand. If you're gonna make a gun shoot so slow, then it should hit hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, the Odin. I think the Odin's a great gun, but there's something funky about it that you don't see a lot of
the
people
slow
using
fire rate, the recoil, and the small mag instantly make it hard to use.
Okay, so now you get. I have so many questions. Like, here's another thing, because now I'm asking like another thing about that is when it comes to like, it seems to me like they should take the modern warfare guns and the Cold War guns. They need to like somehow bring the best of both worlds to the other. So, for instance, if the Scar had a 40 clip, they don't need to change it at all. It would be fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know
45 round mag is what I did the numbers on, where it would make sense.
If they had a 45 round mag, it'd be dope. And then but also on the other guns, I would like some of those perks from the modern warfare.
Oh
guns.
yeah, fully loaded,
FMJ
or whatever. Yeah.
Like So, do you think they're ever going to do that, or like?
I don't think so. I think it's kind of annoying in some senses, because I do the thing where I do top 10 loadouts, and I always have 2 loadouts that are like for your Ghost and your restock. I have those always set up, and they're always set up with the Psykov now and the Grau. And I use the Grau because it's one of the best non-optic, long range, but also modern warfare guns. Like, and you don't need to
put 5 attachments. The 4 attachments are great, and then you can put fully loaded.
Yeah. M4 is another example of that. AMAX is an okay example of that. But those are only like 3 guns, but the Grau is still supreme, has better ADS, where you don't need that TAC laser or the rubberized grip or a 3X optic. You can get away with having fully loaded. When you drop back in 5th zone, you're like, I have to get a loadout. Boom, you grab it, you're fully loaded. Right. And I think that would be available to maybe 2 or 3 other weapons would be in the mix if they were Cold War guns. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I would imagine there would be like 2 or 3 where you go, oh, yep, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to get fully loaded with this gun, and then you're good to go.
Let me get to my list of things now, because I could tell that you and we'll have to do part 2 of this. I love this so much. Okay, let me get to this now. Here's one of my things. I love cross-platform. I think cross-play is great.
Yep.
But in this game, I do feel there is a clear advantage to mouse and keyboard players. And I really wish there was a way that you could go console only, not just Xbox with Xbox, PS5 with PS5, but those people play, and then we get rid of these mouse and keyboard people. What's your thoughts on the different on those two? Because it's a clear, or maybe you don't think there is, but I feel like
I don't think there is a clear. I think the biggest advantage right now is the PC versus console, which is the FOV, the frames. The FOV is like not like, oh my God, you're going to be way better. But there are like, let's say out of an entire match, if I had somebody spectating me at 80 FOV and I'm at 120, for example, I don't play at 120, but let's say if I was at the max, there's probably 1 gunfight out of every 30 engagements where the FOV would have allowed me to see someone that I wouldn't have seen on 80 FOV.
So do you think that? So you don't think that there's a movement advantage with somebody? No. Okay, but how about this? Do you think that the ceiling is higher on mouse and keyboard than
100%? Yes.
But don't you think then therefore that would be an advantage?
No, what ends up happening is console with controller in general. If we're fucking just on controller versus keyboard and mouse, I think the controller aspect is that they do have aim assist, and aim assist actually is pretty decently strong. It's not broken in the game, but for the most part, it's pretty strong. With the exception of stuns, it's overpowered. It shouldn't exist when you get stunned. But the average controller player that, let's say, is quote unquote bad, they're better than the bad keyboard and mouse player.
Oh, interesting. I would not have.
The average player on controller is better than the average keyboard and mouse player, because it's just average. Because the aim assist is helping quite a bit, and it's much easier to move on a controller, just because when you have the mobility of like just an analog stick versus when I input the keyboard, like if I put down something on the keyboard, it does 100% in. It's not like I have functionality. You know what I mean?
You mean to like the little nuance, the little changes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. It's just a little bit different.
I stand corrected.
Then when you go to that next level, the higher skill, then that's where the keyboard and mouse people separate themselves.
Yeah, that's
From
what
the
I'm saying. The ceiling is way higher. I think
Mhm.
and I think certain guns are better on keyboard and mouse than it are
Correct. Yeah, I think
the
so too.
AMAX is one of those guns that I think on with a controller and mouse, it's different than I'm saying with a keyboard and mouse versus a controller. The
Yeah.
AMAX is a way better gun on a keyboard and mouse. Do you think that's true?
I don't know. I think it's hard to compare on that one. I think the AMAX is generally an easier gun to use. I think one of those guns that is one of those is the RAM. For whatever reason, the RAM is just way easier on keyboard and mouse than it is on controller. Not sure why. It's just kind of how it works. But there are a few guns that are like that where it ends up being that way. Burst guns are very similar to that too. When we had the M16,
Yeah.
that was and the AUG, they were better on controller just because kind of like how the aim assist works. I don't know. But
yeah, because you're between every burst, you're making an adjustment.
yep.
Yeah, so I do like that. Okay, let's go to the next thing. Then is like this is a big one right now. Is that so? I feel like the integrity of the game is getting it's getting messed up, especially for like esports and things like that. And all
Yeah.
these tournaments because of this rampant cheating problem. I'm running in, I don't know if you saw that video that I made where I was like doing an impersonation of you. And it was just like that one. I couldn't even believe how I'm like, and I feel like I'm running into a cheater out of 10 games. I'm running into him like not 5 to 6 times. I'm running into somebody where I go, ooh, this seems suspect,
Yeah, and it kind of sucks because there's even scenarios where I run into, and the kill cams are janky, so that makes it even
Right.
more deceiving.
Yes.
Because I was like, that guy had to have been cheating. I go look up their stats, they're like a 1.1 KD, and
Yeah.
their headshot looks normal. They don't have an absurd win percentage. That was like their second kill in the match. and they only got 2.
Well, I always wait and see though. This is how I know when they're cheating. It's like 28 kills, 17 people watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Something's going on here. Yeah, so it's one of those things where I think that's part of it. Like they have so many stupid hacks now. I saw one with Iceman Isaac yesterday or the day before where the guy was running a riot shield and he had it on his back. He started getting shot. He turned around, started running in the opposite direction, firing his weapon, and it was killing the guy behind him.
Yes.
And it was like,
that's what happened to me.
How the hell does that work?
Dude, I mean, I feel like though that, before the pandemic, I felt like esports was becoming a really big thing. People were filling stadiums, watching people play video games. And so now when it went to home, and it's still sort of like that right now, and, all these tournament websites come up where you can win money and this kind of things, I think that it's not a viable option right now because the cheating is just so ridiculous. And those Cronus devices and things like that. So it's like, but why do you think Activision and the makers of Call of Duty, can they do something about cheating, or do you think they even want to?
No, I think they have like a soft anti-cheat, which like it'll detect people when they're blatant. But the problem with Activision right now is like I think they have like the lazy route, which is it's based off reporting. So, for example, if a certain person gets a certain number of reports within a certain number of matches or whatever, then it automatically red flags them to be whatchamacallit, shadow banned, which they don't even have a term on Activision for that. Like if you mention shadow banning, they like, oh, we don't have it with that. We don't even know what that is. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But essentially it gets thrown into these lobbies, which basically when you queue up, it'll say 250 ping plus, when it says the thing and normally it's 28, 37, it goes up. It'll start at 250 and it just sits there. And then eventually it throws you in a lobby and your actual ping in game could be like 60 because it just threw you in with other shadow banned people in your area. But that's just like a placeholder to throw you into a blacklisted server, I guess you can call it, because it's not whitelisted. And basically what will happen is at that point, that impacts a manual review on Activision side to go in and look at this person's gameplay and discern whether or not the person's cheating. So if the person gets shadow banned, a lot of times what they'll do is they just swap over to their next account.
So is there no actual programming way? There's no thing that they could build into the game to recognize Cronus devices or these hacks? Is there no way to do that?
For regular hacks, I believe there is. But like watching Valorant, for example, they built their engine with the like forethought that, hey, we're gonna have it to deal with hackers, and they already built in the engine with hackers in mind. So theirs is pretty strong, but they also have I can't remember the name for it, where basically it's invasive, where you have to install it. It reads the files on your computer,
Oh wow.
which people do not like. They feel like it's a privacy issue. So there's pushback on Valorant from that type of stuff. But there's that aspect. When it comes to Cronus, there's really nothing that the game could legitimately do to counter the Cronus. Back in the day, they used to have a bigger issue with Cronus. I think the only issue with Cronus now, majority of the time, is just anti-recoil, which for the most part is not really an issue, because most of the guns don't have a ton of recoil. But besides that part, before it used to be a what thing was called the jitter mod, and they used to not like safeguard their games before. So, for example, like the Brecky and BO3 used to have an unlimited rate of fire. So if you were like a machine and you could just spam the hell out of your trigger, or you can spam the hell out of your trigger, you would have infinite fire rate. No matter whatever your trigger could go to, that's what it would be. So there was no limit. And then they put in safeguards where now they have trigger caps. So if, let's say it was 10 RPM, which is absurdly low, it's if I press this faster than 10 times a minute, it would still only fire at that one bullet every 6 seconds.
Got you.
There's a cap. So the jitter mod is no longer effective within current CODs, at least to my knowledge, to solve for that issue. And it also happened with the 1911s, I believe, in World War II. But then they put in these trigger caps, which essentially hard cap what the gun can fire at. So those things counteract it. So the only thing that people will say aim assist one. The videos I've seen of that just like look like bad players using like aim assist and not knowing how to play, and it make it look more snappy. But in reality, like it's not like.
So then, I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Because, I'm starting to get a feeling like, it's like you have this like overall feeling where, you run into some cheaters and you're like, oh, that guy's a cheater. But recently I just feel like it's so bad. I just feel like it's like, oh man. And then the problem I have with it is you might run into a really great player, but because you've run into so many cheaters, you're always suspect of a person now.
Yep.
And I think that's Activision and the makers of the game's fault. Now it's like we're at this point where we're just like, oh man, was that guy cheating? And then you have to like look at the cam and you have to spectate for a little while, and you go, you wait for like a couple of shots and you go, all right, he's not cheating, he just got me that time.
Yeah.
But like the fact that we are always thinking that is a problem. And
it is a problem. And it's surprising that the game has been able to be successful as it is. And in my head, it's like, damn, how successful could the game be? Because there's a lot of people that are completely turned off by that. Like, even despite the hackers, you still play the game. I still play the game. A bunch of people I know still play the game. And it's still an issue. And it's only gotten worse from the launch of the game until now. There's obviously been little lulls where it's been a little bit better, where the hacking kind of like dies out for a bit, and then it comes back, and it goes out, comes back. And this has probably been the longest stretch where it's like been consistent hackers, cheaters on a regular basis, and the game is still thriving. And the Activision's hitting their record numbers quarter over quarter. They a new blueprint. It's sold out basically as soon as it's in the store.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, I don't think they have a lot of incentive to change anything because it's working. And if they are, I don't know why they wouldn't like announce it. Say, hey, you know what? We're working on this problem that you guys care about.
Right. But
like that would be like a huge W.
But from what you're saying, they don't even think it's a problem because they're like, what's the problem? Everybody keeps playing and buying our blueprints and this kind of stuff, right? But then, okay, then address real quick then about what I'm saying about, but then, because like I saw your video and I felt your disdain for whoever this person was that cheated in a tournament. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, you got the Call of Duty World Series. You got like, these are supposed to be these great streamers who people admire and follow. And, to know that they're cheating or one of them's cheating is like, I think that is a huge hit to the integrity of esports and streaming, across the board.
Yeah. That happened a while ago. Swag had a tourney with Big Boom, and there was one guy that was basically like they didn't have enough eyeballs to watch all the participants. And they kind of asked me, hey, could you look at some of the clips just so that, maybe we get an extra set of eyeballs. And I was like, yeah, this guy, I think he's cheating. And then we got a few more people involved, and we were looking at clips, and it was clear that the guy was cheating. Then there was another guy, which ended up getting banned 3 or 4 months later, that I also was suspicious of, but it was very hard to identify that the guy was cheating. He ended up having the cheats that I thought he had, which is walls. And walls are one of the most difficult things to spot, because most good players would be so good at hiding them that like you would have to be watching hours of footage and literally looking, hey, how does this guy know where every player is he gets an engagement with? Seems natural, seems natural, seems natural. All right, let me add that one to the sus one. And you're kind of compiling a case. And it's unfortunate that you would have to do that. And with enough eyeballs, that's the difference, though, is that usually most of these top streamers have so many eyeballs on them that for them to get away with wall hack after wall hack after wall hack would be damn near impossible. It would just be too obvious.
Man, so you're like it's like JGOD CSI. You're like,
yeah, you try to be. You look at everything, and it's unfortunate because you have to. Even though I don't doubt any of the big streamers are legitimate, like in my head when I watched a lot of them for the first time, especially when I do the breakdowns of top players, I usually watch and sit in their streams, and a lot of times I don't even follow the stream immediately, and I'll watch them for hours before ever typing in the chat, so that like I could vet them in my own mind and feel comfortable about their gameplay.
Yeah. And
only one person I've ever talked about ever got banned or shadow banned or anything, and that was Wagnificent. And I looked at his old gameplay and I look at his new gameplay, and I don't know what the hell he had, because his stats are better. And I never thought he had anything, but he still got banned. So it was like, how is that possible? I don't think he's a cheater. Like, nothing about his gameplay screams cheater, but that was the only one that I was like, ever felt like, did I get it wrong? I don't know. And even to this day, I believe he's not a cheater. I know people that have played with him for long periods of time, even when he's on console, demon. It's like how? That happen? Like, how does someone accidentally get banned? I mean, unless it was something innocent and we don't know, and it never got talked about, or it was a complete accident.
Right. Man, that's it's like you I mean, I guess it's just like you have to weigh it. It's like there's the popularity of this game and the actually how we talk about it too. I mean, it's just like it almost like any press is good press type of thing, So I guess if the game was perfect and there was no cheaters and all this, would we even find it interesting? So maybe like it's all, you know what I mean? It's all part of the thing that makes it what it is.
Yep.
So one of the questions I got a lot from people is like, so like they wanted like, what's your go-to loadout? Like when you're just playing, like. Do you have like a gun that you love that it's just like, I always want this gun, or even if it's like it's like one of your favorites? No,
I don't really have that. I kind of just stick to whatever the meta is, and luckily the meta has been expanded, so I have about 5 or 6 loadouts I just play between. A lot of times now when I'm playing the game, actually playing it, I'm usually thinking about trying to get content for my second channel, which I'll upload just, hey, I got 15 kill game on Rebirth using the loadout, like the typical YouTuber for COD. So a lot of times I'll use weapons that are mostly, once I go through all the meta weapons, then I'll start using a couple off meta, but still like top viable. It's not like I'm going to pull out a trash gun. I'm not going to be like, yeah, let's rock the Magnum today. It's not going to happen. But like,
I would love that. I would love to see you rock a M60 Magnum loadout. That's the challenge.
Right.
You ever do that? You ever have like a challenge like that? Where you go
no.
You're just
I'm decent, but not like that phenomenal where I could literally pick up rock, paper, scissors and I'm going to be like destroying the lobby. I got this potato here. I'm going to just melee everyone. No, it ain't like that.
Here's a pomegranate and a slingshot, and we're going to see what we can do. Like, you don't do that? Oh, man. Because me personally, I hate using the meta guns. I really do. Like, I still have an Odin loadout. I'll still like, you know what I mean? I like to win. I like the challenge of winning with a loadout that like no one else is using. I just like doing that because I'm like I say, I'm not great at the game. You know, I'm an old man playing the game. So when I win, I get I love that feeling. You know what I mean? I just love it. So you wouldn't consider yourself like so you wouldn't consider yourself like those top streamers, you know, when they get their 30 kill games and that stuff.
No,
that's not you.
Not even close. No. Like I think if I could go back and do it all over again and start like focusing on gaming seriously when I was in my 20s, early 20s.
Got you.
Hell yeah, let's do it. But now that I'm 33, there's nobody doing wagers that's like the oldest is 30. And these guys were pro players. So like their lost a step is still like 10 steps better than my step at 33, you know, type thing.
Yeah.
So I think like also to get to those levels, you have to put in like, you have to be very passionate, not only about like what I'm doing on the back end stuff, but you have to be very passionate about playing the game 8 to 10 hours a day.
Right.
Like any professional athlete,
but you're
in the gym.
But you're a professional now, right? Because this is like, you've made this your job. I mean, right? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've made this your job, and congratulations on that. You know, it's like, you know, this you're like the champion of stat geeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like nerds unite, and you're in the forefront. Like, you know, keep doing you. It's an inspiration to people out there who are like, look, I'm not an athlete, or I'm not great at this, and you're like, you're great at what you do. So it's like, and you've made a living at it. So I think that's pretty fantastic, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I think it initially I always thought like, hey, you know what? I focus on being that good at the game because I was playing like an absurd amount of hours.
Yeah.
But then as I kind of took a step back, like I wasn't putting in those hours. So I can't expect to get those same results. But in my head, mentally, I don't see myself playing the game 8 to 10 hours a day. I don't know how top streamers do it daily. I mean, I guess because when you're a demon, like it just feels like slight work, you know.
Well,
I'm like sweating every match, every gunfight, and it's like.
But I think that Warzone is the kind of thing where it's like the game's 30 minutes long, so like you know. So if you think about it like that, if you're a really great player, you're going 25 minutes deep every single game.
Yep.
So 4 games is already 2 hours almost, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So to get to like 6 hours, it ain't even that big a deal. You know
that is true. That is true. It's like 12 matches.
Yeah, you're like 12 matches, and you're just like, what's going on here? All right, listen, man, I'm gonna go. We're about to wind it down because I know I don't want to keep you too much longer, but let me go live on Twitch right now, and we're gonna go, and you're gonna criticize my loadouts. And then that'll be you know, and I think that people will be like really shocked to even like, you know, because everybody was like, it's like we people have been tweeting at you for like a year now. I don't know if you've even seen them. Like a lot of people from my stream are always like, JGOD, you got to go on Riffin with Griffin. And so I
feel like I've seen it in the past 3 to 6 months or so.
Yes, man. So then like we're on my channel talking about it. And I'm like, why is JGOD big timing me, man? I was like, and then I thought to myself,
what's funny?
Sure,
I
you don't
actually
even
saw
know
you
workaholics
recently in the mentions, but
right?
For some reason in my head, I thought I had already followed you. Because
and then you didn't follow me back. That was another thing. I was like, this bastard.
and then I saw it and I was like, oh shoot, I'm not even following him. Let me go ahead and follow. Because normally, you know, and then I follow whoever. Like I mean, okay. I'm not even thinking about it like that.
Well,
but,
you know what? I shouldn't be. I've been bad mouthing you this whole time, so I'm so glad at you. I'm glad I got the truth about this finally. You know what I mean? But that's like so. All right, let me do this now. You know, I'm on here on Twitch. We'll see. I mean, they'll populate whenever they want. I mean, I call my guys pieces of shit. You know, so they're POS army. That's my guys. They're just monsters. Like, by the way, like, how do you even deal with? Because I'm sure you get a lot of trolls or do you just ignore the noise? Like, how do you even deal with that?
Well, I think like at a certain point, like one of the things I really prided myself on as I was becoming a larger content creator was I would read every single comment. I would heart it or I'd engage with it if I could. I would read through them. So if it made sense to reply, I would reply. So I was able to see like 99% positive, and then you get, you know, your toxic in there. And most people, they would go, oh my God, I can't believe you replied. Like most big YouTubers don't reply. I'm like, I have like 30,000 subscribers. I'm not like a huge YouTuber, you know, I don't even have a silver play button yet, you know, type thing. And then time went on, it became like almost too much. And what you notice quick about the algorithm is the better your videos do, that means your YouTube is recommending you more to people that don't know who you are. And as a result of that, you get more toxic.
That's the trolls.
And then it's like, well, is this person even real? Like, or do they really believe this standpoint of like absurdity? You know,
Yeah.
and it's kind of one of those things that, you know, you don't really know. So you kind of got to disengage, because I would wake up and I'd spend 3 hours reading comments like on a YouTube video.
Were you obsessing? Well, you have an obsessive personality. That's the only way you can do all these stats. And
I was like,
that.
There's no way I can spend my time doing this. I just don't have time in the day for that. And then Twitter started popping off, and then it's like, well, now I have too many mentions and too many random DMs from people. Now I got to close off my DMs because it'd be too many people. Hey, JGOD, I got a question. And then I'd be like, all right, is this a real question or not? Like, why didn't you ask your damn question so I could see what the question is, so I know if I need to respond? And then sometimes I'd respond early on, and they'd be like, oh, can we play sometime?
Right. Then it always turns into that, you know? Like, I get that a lot on my channel, too. I get on my channel, people go, hey, man, can we play? And I'm like, I don't know you. You know what I mean? Like, I got so many friends.
Legitimately, like, there's even players, like, where I know them in the community, and they're like, hey, can we play sometimes? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I just play on random. So, like, literally, you have to be online, and you have to have a spot open so I could join, because literally I'll go to this is how sometimes I'll go to Bobby Pop's stream. That's one of the guys that I normally try to jump in with, because he plays a lot of Rebirth. I go in, I look at his stream. There's 3 icons from Discord. There's a spot. I'm like, hey, Bobby, you got a spot? He's like, hell yeah, jump in, JGOD. I jump into their court. I play for an hour or 2. I play for 3 hours. I play for like 1 match. It doesn't matter. And that's just kind of how it is. Other people be like, hey, can we play sometime? I was like, well, I'm not really playing right now. I'm testing because we just had a brand new update.
Yeah. You're like the thing you love me for, I have to spend a lot of time doing. I can't spend the time playing with you, you know, you nincompoops. You know what I mean?
So it's kind of crazy how that part goes. And then obviously on Twitter, Twitch, now when I stream, it's always like, because of that whole like hacker Illuminati that people think all those big streamers are cheating, they'll be like, hey, did you see that, you know, Aiden, he's cheating? Is like, why are you talking about Aiden in my stream?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't bring up Aiden.
Yeah.
Why are you talking about Aiden? Like, I think he's a very talented player. I think he's one of the best in the game, hands down, not cheating. But like, you're coming in my chat trying to change the subject. We're talking about something else. Like, what is your problem, bro? Like, and that's their only comment. It's like, really? Like,
yeah, I know.
You say hi. What's wrong with you?
yeah, man. They just come in and they just like immediately attack. I mean, it's such a bizarre thing. And then for me too, like when I'm, you know, it's like you're playing and you're kind of like glancing over at your comments, you know, and it would be like if you're at a party and there's no music playing and you can hear people talking, and I'm in the other side of the room and I just go, yeah, man, that J guy, dude, he's a piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
And like I can hear you. You know what I mean? and that's what these people do in the comments. They say like the most outlandish things. That's why, I mean, I'm sure you have mods and stuff, right? Do you like, how many times, do you personally give out timeouts? I mean, how are you on that?
I do sometimes. What'll end up happening is sometimes like I'll see a comment and then sometimes the mods will ban it or whatever. Or I'll just call the dude out and just be like, you know, what the hell is your problem? Let's like look at your chat. This is your first message in my chat, and you decide. And sometimes, like when it gets toxic or there's a good amount of viewers, because I was having my tournament thing, I put in like 30-minute followers, so people couldn't even comment unless they. But then they would wait 30 minutes and leave a stupid comment. I'm like, this man waited 30 minutes to say something stupid.
Dude, the other day, I gave somebody 100,000. I gave him 100,000 second timeout. Like, bitch, get off my channel. You know, so you banned for a month.
yeah, exactly. You can come back when you're ready. Yeah. So I think it just gets a little bit weird when people are just absurdly weird instead of just being positive. It's like, what do you got going on? I'm sure, obviously, you've dealt with a lot of hecklers in IRL. Right. Like, you know, when you do your thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you just get used to it at a certain point where it's like, all right, I've seen 1,000 of you. You've only done this once. I already know how to respond to this fool, you know?
You know, the problem with that too is like, that's the thing is I'm not your normal streamer. You know, I'm a
Yep.
stand-up comedian. I'm an actor. Like like you say, I deal with real people in real life saying stuff to me, and I go at them. A lot
Yep.
of these nerds here, they just don't know how to deal with that. Like when I come back at them, they really get like, "Oh my god, I thought you were a comedian. I thought it was okay to do." It's like, no, no. This is what I do. You're gonna get told, and this is how it is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're just not used to like people having such a boisterous personality on here because a lot of these streamers are just dull. You know, and I think that's what you were commenting on earlier, you know? All right, guys, listen, I'm live on Twitch right now, and this is the great JGOD. We finally got him on, guys. And, you know, so if you want to watch the whole episode, you got to watch Riffin with Griffin. So I came on live right now because before I let him go, I want him to look at my loadouts and you know, tell me what he thinks of. So, of course, my first one here is I got my fully loaded loadout like we were talking about. So I got my GRA, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I got the monolithic, the Tempest, Commando, 50-round mag, and I go fully loaded. So I get that one when I drop in, and then I'm just ranking up this whatever
Psychov is good once you get fully leveled.
So I'm ranking it up right now, so I can still say Ghost. I could be Ghost, and I can still have a really great secondary gun, right?
Yep.
So this is
the only thing I would change probably with that is the perks. See,
Where?
for like you have tracker on, which is cool. But what happens is if you're getting this as a ghost loadout, if you're getting overkill, then amped is a better option than tracker. Okay. But if you're staying with the Psychov, then tracker is okay because you don't need a fast weapon swap because the pistol swaps fast.
Okay, good. All right. Nice.
That makes sense. Because you're playing solos mostly, or you're playing...
I play a lot of... I actually do both. I play a lot of solos, but then I'll play with a couple of my buddies. We play duos and trios a lot too, but for the most part, I play a lot of solos. So
yeah, if you play trios, then I would probably convert the 50 to a 60 mag, but that's obviously in that mode. So you would just do a case by case. Because the difference in ADS speed is so negligible between those, you probably won't even feel the difference. It's like a one frame.
I'm glad you were saying that. Let me ask you something. Do we just ignore these like things at the bottom there with the green and the red? Are those accurate at all?
They are accurate to based off the behind the scenes stats, but the problem is an example, like if you go to your perks, go to sleight of hand. Or the weapon perk, sorry.
Oh,
sorry. Go to sleight of hand, and you're going to see that it increases the fire rate, which we know is not true.
Got you.
So when you go to sleight of hand, it says it increases your fire rate.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make sense to do that, but in reality, what happens is, let's say you're firing consecutively for 1 minute. The fact that you reload faster means you'll get more bullets out within 1 minute. So technically that stat bar moved because it is accurate, but it's not really accurate in terms of realistic.
So why don't people ever, now that we're in this screen right now, why don't people ever use like these other things like frangible? Is that a viable, this crippling power? Is that viable in groups? I always feel like in a group play, this might be a good, you're like the guy that's shooting people's legs and then everybody else can kill them. Or is that a viable perk?
In Warzone, not really, because it only applies when people don't have plates on.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So they have to hit their regular health bar. This is something I struggle with. I actually tested, and it didn't feel like it worked within Warzone, but I later came to find out that it worked, but the person, you had to break their armor. So in reality, they'd be like almost one shot.
They're one shot anyway. Okay, well,
they're not going to really see the effect.
All right, I'm glad you said that. All right, let's go to my next one real quick. Okay, so the top three that's my fully loaded. I drop in, I need that guns. And then I have a SMG Ghost one, which I'm using the Milano. So sometimes I'm just dropping in, I'm going to grab this. So I did that. I did this one with the 3x scope on it because then it's actually great at range and it's great, for close quarters.
It's so weird.
So,
obviously you probably want the bigger mag instead of what do you have instead of like maybe the target
I don't know what would I take off. Oh, I see what you're saying. But I like having that extra damage. Do you think that extra damage is real on that target
the
designator?
Extra damage range I think is 10%. So for example, if this damage drop off is like 22 meters, then it would increase it by 2.2 meters. So you'd be up to 24 meters.
Well, and I think that's why I keep it with the 3x scope on it, right?
Well, no, because what ends up happening is that 2 meter difference would the odds, the times that you get into a gunfight where somebody with between 22 and 24 meters within that 2 meter span, where like it's actually going to benefit you, is negligible.
Oh, this is oh my God. You're this is why you're JGOD. This is why okay. So now I'm changing. So you're saying take the target designator off, put on the clip. Okay. So what
Yep.
should I 55 fast round or
The
40,
regular 55.
regular 55? Okay, regular 55 drum and take off the target designator. So and is that do you think that's true on all the guns with the target designator? Do you think it's even worth using at
The
all?
target designator, I have to retest it on shotguns, but the only loadouts where it made sense to use them on was shotguns because there's really only two attachments that increase your range in shotguns, I believe, which is the suppressor and then the laser, which was the target designator. And it ended up doing like more percentage on shotguns for whatever reason. So, like for example, with the Gallo, when you were using that, it would allow you to get up to like 9.5 meters instead of like 7 or
Boom.
6, which
Got you.
that 2 meters is completely different because there's so many engagements where 7 to 9 meters is literally the difference between one extra shot or not, where you're going to lose a gunfight. Versus with this, 22 meters is kind of a rare, like a rarer. You're usually closer or like 40 meters plus.
Got you. And then I just have this gun here just for no reason other than to have fully loaded on it. So my other gun is fully loaded when I drop in. That's
Once you get your sight leveled, obviously you'd probably swap that out.
Yes.
The Diamatti, no, not the Diamatti.
The Renetti.
The Renetti, you can do the
Yes.
same thing.
Yeah.
And those ones are a little bit more practical, but obviously
Yeah.
if you're swapping it out for just to get fully loaded,
Yeah,
then you leave
because like
someone a sorry pistol.
because by the way, I feel like on this new update, the ground guns are too good. I picked up a gold Krieg earlier, and I got second place in a solo, and I was like, what I did was I just picked up this and picked up that gold Krieg,
Yeah.
and it was so good. I was like, this is too good to be on the
It
ground.
got buffed. Yeah. Well, the rest of the floor loot isn't all that great. Like the amp is garbage. Like I think it's a terrible pistol.
Oh, that
buff.
shooting one? Okay.
Yeah, it's
Got
a
you.
fully auto amp 63, I think it's called. Yeah, it sucks.
All right, so then my next one is like another ghost. So sometimes like maybe I pick up somebody's MP5 I killed, and then the loadout comes, and then I'll just get my ghost, which is the
especially
Farah.
in solos, it's way
Yes.
more forgiving on your loadout. You can pretty
Yes.
much pick up anything as long as you get like a Milano off the floor or
Right.
get Mac 10. You're okay. You know, you got long range, feel comfortable with.
Now this is how I have mine set up, but like you could correct me, please. I got my
No, that looks right. That looks like the normal build that most people will use. The only thing is you might want to do Groove Suppressor, which will be a little bit slower, but you get a little bit more bullet velocity. But that one comes down to preference. One thing you could do is do the Groove Suppressor, for example, and then if you wanted to put on the RP, was the Ranger barrel or what's the barrel? The other one, I can't remember the name right now. Liberator. The Liberator has the same bullet velocity as the RPK. A little bit less recoil control, but it aimed down sight. It makes up for the groove.
Okay, so when I always get fooled by these red lines. So when I'm looking at this thing and I liberate, I go, look at the damage drop off. Is that accurate? I mean, it's like
that damage is more the range. So for example, with that gun, if it has like a 35 meters and then it has like a 10 meters or 20 meter difference or 20% difference, well, you're talking about 6 meters difference. So you end up with that same scenario we talked about where you're going up from 36 meters to 39. But if you're using this like in like the normal way you would use it, you're probably going to use it for 50 meters plus, 40 meters plus. And then it really, that doesn't really come down to impact the gunfight.
Okay. Liberator done.
Yep.
And then like the grips, I have this like I like
Spetsnaz, Spetsnaz is the way to go.
And then I have the 60 round mag. You know what I mean? Okay, boom. All right. So there's that loadout, and then I have a what I call my retired garbage loadout. But right now I have something good in it. But like I had retired the C58 for a second, and then I brought it back.
yeah, it's so good. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
So with the 4X.
So this is what I
have to double check to see if it's still broken. But the 4X, it had better recoil properties than the 3X.
Okay, but my problem with the 4X is now that goes into my ADS numbers. Yeah. It affects, so it was slower because I have that slower.
Yeah.
So then my gun was slower.
Control.
Yeah. So, but you still think it's worth trying with the 4X, or should I just keep the 3X?
I would try the 4X just to see how it feels. I tried it last night when I was leveling my SMG, the new SMG. And I was like, yeah, doesn't feel like they nerfed this at all. The only thing you'll want to do with this is you'll probably want to change the optic or the reticle.
Yeah.
So you customize that, and then you can change that reticle.
Yeah, I have my reticle. But what about all this other stuff I have on it? So I mean,
No, that stuff looks fine. You can do
Ranger.
Ranger or Task Force, same argument that we kind of went back and forth with the
Got you.
Farah.
And
it
then
kind of
like,
just depends.
and I have this one because I like the recoil control, the
Yep.
field agent, and then like, I had the fast mag on this, but you think I should go with just a regular 55?
You can go with regular 55. This thing actually reloads really fast. I think it's like 1.5 seconds compared to like the Farah's almost like 2.5 seconds. So it reloads fast on its own. You might as well not penalize yourself on the aim down sight.
And then what I did also was like I went back to the bullfrog, you know, I not the bullfrog, the
bison.
The bison. So this is my bison setup, and I love the bison. It feels good. I don't know. I mean, you
I
were
haven't
saying
touched the bison in so long. I think after this update, there's gonna be a lot more SMGs into the mix. I actually preferred the bullfrog because it had the same same damage profile. I don't know about now. I have to double check, but it had the same damage profile. But the bullfrog fired 100 RPM faster, which basically means in every scenario, the bullfrog killed faster than the bison because it literally just shoots faster but does the same damage. They've done enough damage changes to both of the weapons that maybe it's different now.
But but let me ask you this though. I'm so glad you said that. But then it becomes a style situation though, because for me, if a gun shoots too fast, I find myself losing that fight because I've wasted all my bullets before I've made the adjustment.
Yeah, so it depends on the individual. I think the benefit with this type of build, for example, though, is you have better hip fire accuracy, which is nice. You probably have decent strafe speed. So like you're a hip fire player, which I think most like players are split on that. Some people never hip fire, and then some people do hip fire.
I'm finding that I have to hip fire now more than before because once I start aiming down sight, these guys are jumping out of the way, and I'm like, you know what I mean? So I'm finding that I have to hip fire, and then the aim assist kicks in a little faster too when you do that too, right?
Yep. So I think with this, it ends up being like a decent build for hip fire. Maybe get some bullets in there. And any reason why you use a prox mine over like a claymore?
I find that they're both garbage in different scenarios because I find that the claymore, people, first of all, it's noticeable. So where you put it is like, you know, like you can see it through doors. Like somebody's coming up the stairs, they see those red lasers more than anything else, and people are jumping right over them. I use the proximity mine because it still hits them. You know, you'll get, even if it's just one play. But I find that the players are moving so fast right now that neither one of them are as good as they were.
Yeah,
they were before. And I'm like, you go, that's right past my mind. But if you throw two of them down, like sometimes I like in a building, like there's just one building downtown I go to. All the kids call it Griff Tower. You know what I mean? So like I'll put one by the elevator, and then I'll put one where I know they run once they get hit. And then that'll get them, you know.
Oh, because you got to double up. Yeah,
I got it doubled up. So, you know, that's the only reason why I do that. Let me just quickly go through these other. So I have I just started sniping. So this is one of my, I have this from my sniper support is my.
The XM4 got nerfed hard for sniper support.
Oh, man. So what do you think now?
I don't know yet. I think it kind of is hard because they kind of destroyed a lot of the rifles for the close range TTK. So before this thing used to kill sub 600, now it's 666, I believe, for its short range, which means that you're going to get beat by every SMG. Like before, it was at least close. Now it's like, well,
do you think a Groza?
You better not get anything. You better not get pushed or push a building, you know, type thing.
Okay, so XM4 out as sniper support.
I don't know necessarily out yet. I think the verdict's not 100% there.
Okay,
but I think it's killing a little bit too slow where you're going to be at a disadvantage. Like if you're running a sniper, you're kind of at a disadvantage because your gun there's no jack of all trades like we had. We've been kind of spoiled by having the XM4, the Farah, the AK-47,
right.
All these guns that could provide both. Now most of them aren't killing fast enough up close to solve for that problem. So I think we'll have to kind of wait and see on that one.
All right. Okay. I mean, just a couple. This is one of these things that well, okay. So I have I like the AUG. I like the Modern Warfare AUG. I love this gun. I think it's great up close.
That's cool as an SMG. 30 round mag, 5.56 kills pretty fast.
Yeah.
I think this is a solid build. if you put on the 60, it'd be way too damn slow. But
Right. But when I'm playing group play, I might do that with just to have the bullets.
Yep.
But like, I know what you're saying about that. All right, so there's that, and then here's my LMG. I watched one of your videos, and I love using Cavalry Lancer because I love wrecking Berthas with it.
Oh, 100%. Those things destroy.
Yeah, I love it.
The Stoner did get a slight nerf, I think. So I it's still good though. I think either way it's still good.
So according to you, then I should take this target designator off and put ammo on this one, huh?
You could put ammo if you don't mind the reload the way it is now. You could do ammo like fast mag or 120. But if you wanted to like have a better aim down sight, you could go with the rear grip and put on like the elastic wrap.
All right, this will give it better. Okay, I'm going to do that.
Like way better. It takes off like 60 milliseconds or something.
Oh, wow, man. Okay, now, I feel like the AK-74U, it was becoming good.
It just got nerfed.
And now they ruined it again, right? I feel like it was out, and now is it still out? Like, what do you think?
I have to plug in the data from what they said they updated, so I'm not 100% sure. I would feel like they buffed it for range, but then they nerfed it up close. So I think people weren't using it before, so I don't think a lot of people will be using it now, especially since it's one of the slower aim down sights in the game, like for the SMG category.
Okay. All right.
So it's already penalized at the get-go.
All right. I'm going to have to come back to that. And this is my experimental loadout because I'm using for sniper support, I'm using the M13,
Yep. M13. Let me double check that because I already updated that stat. Let me double check.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure the M13
Twitch. What do you guys think? Let me go to Twitch.
I don't think it kills fast enough up close. It's the same thing with the XM4, but at range it does kill faster now. But you are using it like for super fast aim down sight, better hip fire build.
Yes.
You could. Let me see.
What do you think?
No, I think that's good. I think that's about all you could do. The Tempest Cyclone gives you suppression, bullet velocity, with no tracers. I don't know if you know that part with the integrated barrels. They don't have tracers.
Oh, really? Actually, I still see the yellow tracers on this.
Well, that's probably because you have the tracer pack.
Yeah, I do.
You don't have tracer pack, you won't see tracers.
Oh, okay. All right, because I just got the blueprint of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you don't,
but I felt like it was messing up the gun. Is that a real thing?
What, the tracers?
Yeah.
Like I think they just distract you. They're kind of annoying, in my opinion. I've never rocked.
You know what? I agree, but I like the. That's just that's a preference thing. I don't know why I like it.
Yeah, it's flashy. It's fun.
And are you a sniper guy? I mean, because like I've been trying this Pellington, and I really like. I like it.
Pellington's cool. I think the Swiss and the car are the best two snipers, though.
Swiss and the car. Okay, one almost done. So I have my XM loadout, and this is how I have it set up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard build. Takedown, I mean, you don't necessarily need that range. I'd either go with the Ranger or the Task Force.
Okay. Let's go Ranger. Thank you, sir.
And then 45 is good for ADS speed, especially if you're playing solos.
Yeah.
You just can't get caught reloading. Like if you're shooting a Bertha and then you get like somebody jumps out on you, that's the worst.
It reloads like a Magnum. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I had the LC10, but I saw that on your thing. I saw your video last night. You felt like they nerfed this to the ground. You think, huh?
I have to double check again. Like I said, I haven't updated all the SMG stuff. I just went through and did all the rifles, LMG stuff. So those are all accurate on my spreadsheet as far as the TTKs.
Okay.
But I have to go back through and do the math on the SMGs, basically. Okay. So we'll get the better verdict. Like I never thought I'd say the QBZ was decent good, but now the QBZ is like actually worth using, which is kind of dumb.
Now, is a QBZ worth using as sniper support?
No. Like I said, most of the rifles still struggle at close range TTK. Okay. So you're going to be like penalized no matter what you use up close.
Okay, so you then it's suggesting that for sniper support, SMG.
Well, even then that's hard, but maybe the Milano could be still good sniper support.
Because of the range that it has.
Yeah. Yep.
Unless I see what you're saying. So unless you're like really good at sniping, those people that can quick scope and all that, which I always feel like they're cheating when they do that. I don't understand how people do that. I don't. You know what's another thing that really bugs me, man? Is like, like I have a sniper and someone's shooting at me and my shit is jumping all over the place. So I always feel like if I'm shooting at somebody and I'm getting hit markers and they still snipe me, they're cheating. That's just how I feel about
it.
it.
It feels like that. I was like, how the hell did that happen?
How? All right, and my last loadout is I have my TAC loadout. So because I still love the tactical rifle. So I still got my M16. And in solos, I think it's only good in solos. I think it's only good in solos, but like, because in group play, you're not hitting your shots the way you can. You know what I mean? So, and I have it set up like this.
Yeah, unless they're running across an open field, it's a little
yeah. You know, but I do like the idea of being able to like shoot and make the adjustment because I'm that kind of player where I can make a little adjustment. But if I'm shooting a gun that shoots too fast, like the Mac-10, I can't play with it because by the time I make the adjustment,
the mag's gone.
All the bullets are gone.
Yeah. That's always been the downside with that gun is just the damage per mag is way too low.
Yeah, it's just man. Well, you know what? I think and I still have the Mag-10 in it. I still try, you know, because up close it's like, you know, it is what it is. And I have it set up.
Extended, I would still use the task force for that one.
Okay, task force.
We'll see. I think like if the mag issue was the issue before, they nerfed this one, so it's going to be a bigger issue now, I think.
All right. I feel you. Well, man, I really appreciate you being on. This has been great. You know, it's like I've been looking forward to this, and I made it happen. I think my EGOD meet JGOD video is the thing that put us over the edge. But you know, from me and all of the COD, I'm going to speak for the whole COD universe. We completely and utterly appreciate everything that you do. Please continue doing what you do because we can't play the game without you. We need those spreadsheets. We need those numbers so we can like be viable out here. And thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for being here, and I'll keep in touch, man. So you know, maybe we'll have you on again when it was something big to talk about. But I appreciate you for being on, man, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, cool. I just got off Twitch. Yeah, man. Thanks a lot, and you know, I'll let you know. I can just go to one of your YouTube videos and grab all your information. You know, I see all you know, you have all that stuff, and I'll put that in my thing, and when I put it out, I usually put it out on Monday. I'm probably gonna put this one out on Monday, and I'll send you the links, and you'll know the link if you could just tweet that out for me and all that kind of stuff. That'd be great.
For sure.
Yeah, I think people will really love this, and like I say, if you ever want me to jump in with you and play, that'd be fun too to do that too. So.
I think Rebirth is where I've been spending most of my time because I
love play. You know, on Saturdays, man, I do custom matches with the fans. On Saturdays,
really?
I do custom Rebirth matches.
I think I saw something about that you tweeted out.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. So that because then it's fun, you know.
Yep.
But one thing I do wish that they did with the Rebirth with the customs is I wish you can actually customize it.
Yeah.
I wish.
What's funny is when they first leaked the private matches, they actually had customizable stuff, but then, like when it actually came out, literally nothing's touchable.
I don't understand it because to me, like on custom matches, it should always be a jailbreak, always. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I would want to fix that. And I would also want to make it where I can remove guns. Like, you can't play with this gun, or you can only play with these 5 guns just to make it fun. Like,
that's the problem with the competitive scene right now is they want to do customs, but then they can't limit the weapons. So they can't, like, everything would be gentleman's agreement. But it's like, oh, am I just supposed to walk past a floor loot, whatever?
Yeah.
Like, am I just supposed to walk past it because I got bad RNG when I landed, and this guy who got a regular, like a gun that's not G8'd, and I'm not supposed to pick it up?
Yeah,
how dare you pick up that RPG and shoot my Bertha?
Right, man. So, but anyways, I do custom. So if you ever want to jump in on that with your, then we could get like a real 100 fit. Because I don't always do the Warzone one. I've been doing the Rebirth ones, the mini ones, because you can get more. They're
a hassle to set up, right? Like,
yes,
it's so damn
man.
Annoying. It's
ridiculous. By the way, yes. You know what the biggest problem with it is like you have too many people on your friends list. You can't add people. They don't make it easy to add people to the game. And so now I have
for a while they had the regiments broken, so you couldn't even do it that way.
Is the regiment still broken? Did they fix that?
I think they fixed it. But one thing that does work, I don't know if you have Discord on the same because you game on a computer?
No, I game on my Xbox, but I do have Discord. I can use my Discord.
No, the reason why I was asking is because if you are on PC and you happen to have Discord on the same PC, you can actually just be in Discord and you can open invite and people automatically be able to join through Discord.
Oh, really?
But that's a PC specific thing.
Oh.
So if you have your Discord though, what you could do is you could have maybe somebody who has a mod like for you, like the mods for you, that you feel comfortable with, that maybe that you could say, hey, could you host it? And then you'll get in there through a regular invite. And then they'll put the link in the Discord. And then if there's like 30 people want to jump in or 50 or however many people, they just click on that. And if they are playing on PC with Discord, they'll automatically just click it and join the lobby. No invites or anything needed.
That's interesting. Okay, I'll have to think of that because that is a major, like, I think that the customs would be a lot better if they made it easier to join.
Yeah, because it feels like kind of like a chore.
Yes,
when
it
it should
is
be
a chore.
like a community-driven thing that's just fun.
Yes, man. Yes. I'm so glad I'm still recording because I'm going to put this in. This is great.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's just bad. But yeah, I even had that with mine because my Discord is actually set up on my like regular streaming PC. But my game is on a gaming PC. So there's no other apps or anything on that. It's just literally the gaming PC. So I can't do that. So what I did is I had one of my mods. He said, hey, I'll do it. And I had him join the lobby and then he hosted it and people would just fill up. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's what you want because I would like for once to have 150 fans in the game.
Yep.
Like doing like a Warzone. But I don't like doing those Warzone ones because then I'm sitting here waiting every single time I'm waiting 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I went to the mini.
It's like, all right, join up now. Join up now. Join up now.
Yeah. Then if I die right away, I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
And they should, and they should also make it where the leader can jump in between. They should make it so I can go to whoever.
Yeah. They should have like a caster mode where you can spectate different perspectives. Yeah.
Yes, man. Well, maybe we'll put that out there in the universe. But anyways, you know what? Since I'm still going, I want to say thanks again to JGOD for being on the podcast. This has been Riffin with Griffin, and I will see you guys next week.